Ms. McKinnon, please.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Counselor Van Houten.
Here.
Counselor Wolf.
Here.
Counselor Gibson.
Here.
Counselor Mergelman.
Here.
Counselor Neighbors. Counselor McKinnon.
here.
Mayor Villagrana.
Present. The first item on the agenda is a public hearing for the 2024 budget hearing. You may speak on this, but please be mindful that it's only for 3 minutes. It is not a debate. It's simply people giving the city council your concept of what should go on that budget. So we are open for that. I'm sorry, city manager, please. Anything else to say? So
No.
please, anyone?
Kathy Madonna, 504 Brookway. I had gone to the budget workshop and I was very pleased with how our new city manager and Lori held the meeting. It was educational, informational, and well organized, so I appreciate that. Once I really started looking at the budget, I had quite a few questions. So I sent, again, our city manager an email and copied Lori in, and I got a response just before the meeting today. It was the most informational email I have received since coming to city council back in '21. I got my answered clearly, and I think completely, although I haven't had time to really look at it and compare it to the numbers. But I'm very encouraged with this budget process. I have not seen one done so well since I started coming to council. I appreciate that. One thing I would like to ask is that you look at giving the police department more funding. I've been campaigning and talking to people. Every one of them bring up code enforcement, speeding along, well, one like gal said, speeding along Second and Third, you know, weeds, dogs. Second is streets. So if we could, I don't, you know, I'm not into management or any of that. I don't know what's going on in the police department, but code enforcement is people's primary complaint. So thank you, Amy. I really appreciate it.
Anybody else? Please.
Sue Kinzer, 302 Wilson. First and foremost, I want to thank Sam because I think you're the one that's been working on the Florence River Park, right? And Wilcox Park. Both of them, they both are looking so much better. Thank you. As far as the budget goes, I just want to echo what Kathy had to say. We really would like for the police department to have enough money to enforce code and actually catch dogs. They are running rampant all over here. That's all I have to say.
We need a police blotter. We need a police blotter. So I'm being told that the city can't produce one for whatever reason. I think lack of resources, manpower. The citizens of this community deserve to know what's happening with criminal activity. And like today, there was a gun drawn in the street. Somebody posted about it in the Facebook group. People are going crazy with speculation. Like,
Sorry.
I really would like to see the...
I hate to interrupt, but can you just say your name and address, please?
Yeah, Kevin Mamal, GPO Box 19, Florence, Colorado, 81226. But yeah, we need a police blotter. Like, that's a simple service that, from my understanding, the city of Florence once provided, like 3 to 4 or 5 years ago, but the city has stopped. And I was led to believe by the chief that we were going to have one, but I was told recently that it's not going to happen because of limitations. So we need money for that, right? So I guess echoing everyone else, like give the police more money so they could generate a report about crime in Florence. It's a pretty simple thing that I think taxpayers deserve to have. So.
Anyone else? If not, our next agenda item is visitors. Thank you. If there is no one else that wishes to address the budget for public hearings, then the public hearing is closed. And our next item is the visitors for 3 minutes. Ms. Miley, you're first.
Jenny Miley, Ward 3. Good evening. Has become a monopoly. Private businesses with the Alliance are favored. Their programs are indifferent to the harm and loss of profits to other businesses. The rationale is city revenue, but the incentive is coalition profits. The council must stop this practice of closing down Main Street for coalition businesses. Council Mergelman seemed surprised about the events at the Emergent Campus. Florence is more than the antique identity. The leaders must advocate and support the Emergent Campus and all businesses in Florence with the same zeal as it promotes the private businesses of Juntique. Florence needs to diversify. It's time to create additional sources of revenue. The single focus reliance on heritage tourism and antique is not sound economics. We need an economic development consortium for Florence that functions outside the antique coalition. It must actively seek out, recruit, and establish clean, green, small tech businesses like at the Emergent Campus. We must bring in wind and solar manufacturing or agricultural industries like hydroponics. The prospects of Florence are endless that will bring in employment opportunities and revenues. These industries and businesses are coming to rural America. If we don't bring them to Florence, they will go elsewhere, and so goes their money. This city is capable of multitasking. We can support our past while building a future economy. Council, I ask you create an economic development consortium focusing on science and technology and job opportunities for Florence. The Emergent Campus is an excellent source and a place to start. Ito's Steakhouse, located at 114 West Main Street, is a business harmed by the street closures for Juntique. Help make up Ito's revenues loss and eat at Ito's multiple times, like a lot. Thank you.
Justin, you're our next visitor, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, members of council. I'm Justin Kurth. While I'm not a Florence resident, I am here representing Congresswoman Brittany Pedersen, the Congressmember for this area. Here to share just a few things quickly about the near shutdown, and then to just address briefly what where we're located, where we're active, and what we're engaging in. So the Congresswoman was glad that the Congress was able to avoid the reckless and unnecessary shutdown while also preventing the devastating impacts that would have befell the federal programs. Excuse me. it's a positive step, but only a temporary one, as you're aware of. She's committed to working with other members on both sides of the aisle to seek out long-term solutions to keep the government open. So, the office, the few offices we have in the district are in Lakewood and Canyon City. I staff the Canyon City office on a regular basis. Sometimes I'll be about the other counties, but for the most part, you can schedule an appointment or find me there most days of the week. So if anybody wishes to reach out to me, the number is listed on the Congresswoman's website, pedersen.house.gov, and more often than I will be available there. The Congresswoman is usually what was scheduled to be in district around this time. The discussions around the appropriations disrupted the rest of the calendar for the remainder of the calendar year, and so a lot of plans had to change on a dime. But while we be few, we be flexible. We have a pretty nimble team of just under 20 people between the DC and district offices. One of those, again, the Congresswoman saw fit to see our rural areas paid attention to, as may have been different from the past. So happy to be here. I'm a resident of Penrose since 2011, so I've grown up rural. I understand rural. That's where my focus is on behalf of the Congresswoman. She sees the importance there, and I just thought I'd extend my hand to say if there's areas we can be of assistance in, we're happy to, whether they're personal areas and areas like Social Security, veterans benefits, issues with passports, those kind of services. If it's a federal agency and you're having a problem with it, reach out to us, whether that's we'll let you know if that's an issue we can help with, or that, listen to your concern with what's going on. That's what we're here for. So the local number to the office in Canyon City, 719-458-6161, and available for anybody to reach out to as I wait in the audience. So thank you. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take them, but otherwise I'll
Justin,
Give it back.
I just would like to tell you that you've been the representative for Ms. Peterson, that I am very pleased that you have attended and made her look at our communities. In every meeting that I've been to, you have been there, and it's wonderful that she has taken interest in the rural community. And for that, I thank you and I thank her.
Yep, happy to be of service, and I will pass it on. Thank you, Mayor. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Sue, our next. Okay. You don't want to do it again. After that, then, our next agenda is meeting minutes. City Clerk, please.
Yes, if there's any amendments to the minutes, please let me know.
City Council, any amendments? If there is no amendments to it, may I please have a motion to accept the minutes for September 18th, 2023?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for September 18, 2023.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
No further discussion? Roll call, please.
Counselor Wolf?
Yes.
Counselor Mergelman?
Yes.
Counselor Van Houten?
Yes.
Counselor Gibson?
Yes.
Counselor McKinnon?
Yes.
Mayor Villagrana?
Yes. Our next item is bills allowed for the amount of $196.97. City manager, please.
Are there any questions on the bills allowed?
Yeah, I just had one. I just want to know the difference between fourth quarter WC, I figure that's workman's comp, and fourth quarter charges PC. Couldn't figure out what charges PC was.
I believe the PC is property coverage.
Property coverage. Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? If not, I will accept the motion to approve the bills for $106,196.97.
I'll make the motion to approve the bills that amount to $106,196.97, please.
May I have a second?
Second.
No further discussion? Roll call, please.
Counselor McKinnon?
Yes.
Counselor Van Houten?
Yes.
Counselor Wolf?
Yes.
Counselor Gibson?
Yes.
Counselor Mergelman?
Yes.
Mayor Villagrana?
Yes. Our next item is a discussion item for John C. Fremont Library District. Do we have a person?
A few people. Can you hear me?
Please state your name and address.
Tabitha Solakovich, and it's 426th Terrace.
Andrew Carr, 155 High Meadows Drive.
Jana Dixon, 529 East 2nd.
Kevin Mamal, GPO Box 19, Florence, Colorado.
Thank you guys for having us. Can you hear me, or do I need to put it up a little bit? How's that? So, dear council members, thank you for allowing us to come here tonight. I have a letter that I think each of you have that I wanted to read to you. And just basically, I want to introduce myself. I know most of you, but for those of you who don't, I'm Tabby Solakovich. I have been the library director at the John C. Fremont Library since 2011. My staff, some of my board, and I would like to formally request that the City of Florence consider donating the St. Joseph Manor building to the JCFLD as a future location of our library facility. If the donation is acceptable to the City of Florence, the JCFLD would take responsibility of remodel, maintenance, insurance, etc. of the property upon successful completion of the following. We would first need to review any engineering, remodel, public safety records. We need to know if the building is actually feasible to be a library. We would want to conduct physical inspections, obtain a contractor bids on feasibility to become a safe library, determine if the building meets general suitability requirements to become a safe and permanent library location, and obtain approval of zoning and any other city requirements to become a public library. So I know that that's a lot. For those of you who don't know, the building that we're in now, we lease, and we've leased that building since 2005, when we became a district in 2004. The location of our library in Florence has changed 5 times since the first reading room was established in 1897. So this wouldn't be the first time that we've moved. We have been leasing our current facility from, which is formerly Fox Drug, from the, I'm not sure how many of you realize the size and scope of our library district, so I thought I'd give you a map. Does anybody have any questions for myself or any of my board members?
Any further discussion, comments? James?
None.
Steve?
Not at the moment. I will have some.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, if I could just add, so the board's been looking at this for quite some time. Tabby, of course, a lot longer than any of us board members up here. She's been at it with previous administrations and what have you. So this conversation may seem like we're rehashing an old discussion, but from my understanding, through all the years that this conversation has gone back and forth, we actually haven't pushed forward to move to finalizing. I know there's been engineering studies and things of that nature, but actually connecting the dots. The city has approached the library district multiple times in the past with the idea of donating the space to us to use. So that's kind of where we're operating from, that whole idea. But when you look at real estate in the city of Florence, we're incredibly limited, especially for the space that we need. We're setting around 4,000-ish, right? And we're looking at something that will, as Tabby alluded to, be more like a community center and serve more needs for the community. So we want to move this discussion forward. There's been rumors of asbestos, lead-based paint and other things in that building. So, but there are also rumors that that stuff has been encased or removed or remediated. So that's kind of our hope today, is to officially engage the city on this so that we could either put it to rest or explore it further if that opportunity presents itself. So.
Any other board members like to?
I'd like to say something. I'm Jana Dixon. we really have thought long and hard about this, and it's not a first choice. But because of the bond issues, the last election, we went for a bond, but the schools were much more important, I think, we all thought. And so it did not pass. And this year, the tax situation, just as a board, we thought everybody's property taxes are being raised, and this is not the time to go ask for money for the library. But there's a compelling need for us to have a permanent library. And so we had been told many times that that was an option, so we're asking you to give us consideration for that, if it worked.
Sir?
I don't think I have anything.
Do you guys have any questions for me?
Yeah, Debbie, any comments?
What is the square footage of the library right now?
Right now, we're a little less than 4,000 square foot.
At the manor, how many square feet?
One of the different diagrams that I have say that it's about 11,500, but it says that it's approximate, so I'm not sure.
And I don't know, I had heard that there was a study done at one time and that the floor would not support the weight of the books.
I have heard that rumor as well, and that is one of the reasons we're here, and one of the reasons we have in here, we need to see if that's true or not. If it's true, then of course that's not a good location. But if those are just rumors and there's nothing to back that, then this might be something that we can actually look into. That's why we want to take our steps. If the city believes that it's okay to donate, then we'll do our part. We do have a building fund, which isn't really large, but we would be able to use our building fund to go towards some different studies to see would that actually be a feasible location.
Then where would you get the money to continue to make the improvements?
I would seek out grants, and then we would eventually need to go on the ballot again for a mill levy increase. We've been at 2 mills since we became a district in 2004 and started getting mills, our property taxes, in 2005. So pretty much every year since 2005, our budget's been around $200,000 a year.
Rudel?
If I remember correctly, when we took over this building, the city did, they didn't know how they were gonna fill this up. So the first people they talked to was the library and the senior center. And the first plan was to get all three of them in here. I don't know if there's any definite thing about who was located where. Because at that time, we had a full working basement with a kitchen and everything down there, so there was all sorts of possibilities. But I'm sure the city is full 100% support of making sure we keep our library.
Thank you.
It's probably gonna, it's not gonna be it's gonna take a while to work all this out. And
Correct.
I think you're right. I think tonight you hit the starter,
And our,
and we'll see where it goes.
our landlords are amazing. They have been so patient and kind, and we've been, our lease just barely increased last year. We don't even pay enough in our monthly lease to pay their property taxes for them. They have told me before they're philanthropists, and the way that they want to give is to the library, but they are retired and they would like to not be landlords anymore. In all honesty, though, they have told me that if the manor doesn't work out or we don't find something else, they would be willing to sell the building we're in now to the library. But as I stated before, we outgrew that space when we moved into it. So we're trying to become a bigger, better space. Any other questions?
Gail?
I want this conversation to continue, so I would like to see, yes, let's continue this conversation.
I think for myself, I would like to also explore more. But one of the problems that I think that I see on your thing is that you say more parking. Would you please explore when you're doing the museum or doing the manor over here? Would you please look at the parking aspects of it? And I will be real honest with you, I don't know if it's gonna happen, but there's a possibility that the VA could be coming in. And, you know, VA parking and library park, it could be an issue. So please, you know, be very aware of, when you make your plans, of looking at the parking issue. And thank you. I think it's worthwhile looking into.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
My-
None?
My contact information's on the bottom, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, call, email, walk on over. Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Now, our new business, we have Resolution 13-2023, a resolution allowing a child care center as a use by special review at 810 East Third Street. Ms. Fox, please.
In the staff report, did you guys have any questions regarding this resolution?
Any questions, discussion?
It's basically just, it's changed hands and they want to reopen it as a child care service.
Yeah, it's
correct?
basically just a new entity renting it from Kinderhouse. So it was a requirement to go through another special use review.
Are there any code issues that have to be met before we would allow it?
No. And the fire chief did email me today and give me, he submitted like a form saying that they are good to go on that part of it.
So new people will be running this?
Yes, ma'am.
How come they're not here to answer questions?
Are you?
Oh,
maybe?
okay, because I have some questions.
Okay.
Okay.
Your name and address, please.
Terry Bond, 1211 East Platteville Boulevard, Pueblo West, Colorado.
Are you planning on having as many children there? Are you prepared for that as what was in the past?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what type of security system do you have there?
We are, we're being monitored through the ATD, our ADT.
Will you explain that to me and for everybody else that doesn't know?
It's just a monitoring system, so if there's a fire or anything, it will contact the local authorities.
Okay. Well, I have a concern. Are you aware that there is 13 registered sex offenders within a mile area of that facility?
No, ma'am.
I would be concerned about that if I was a parent having my child there, and I would want more security. I think that's something that people haven't thought about, but as our community is changing, we have different people coming here and there. I think I would like to see a better security system put in place for something like this.
Okay.
Rudel?
No, I don't have any more questions.
Ms. McKinnon?
I don't have any questions.
James?
No, I've already asked my question.
Steve?
Just what's the ratio of teachers or adults to children?
Okay, it depends on the age group. If it's an infant, it's a 1 to 5. If it's a toddler, it's a 1 to 5. If it's a preschool, it's 1 to 10. And if it's a school age, it's 1 to 15. Now we are going to partner with Early Learning Ventures, which is an early piece of Head Start, and their ratios are lower. So for our infant room, it'll be a 1 to 4. Our toddlers will be a 1 to 4.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Gibson, any further questions?
No.
Ms. McKinnon? Request a motion to approve resolution number 13-2023, a resolution allowing a child care center as a use by special review at 810 East 3rd Street. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion, we approve resolution number 13-2023, a resolution allowing a child care center as used by a special review at 810 East 3rd Street.
May I have a second?
Second.
Further discussion? None? Roll call, please.
Counselor Mergelman?
Yes.
Counselor McKinnon?
Yes.
Counselor Van Houten?
Yes.
Counselor Wolf?
Yes.
Counselor Gibson?
No, I'm not comfortable voting for this at this time.
Mayor Villagrana?
Yes. Thank you. Looks like it passed.
Yeah, and I just real quick wanted to say to the applicant, I think the law was pretty clear that this needed to come forward, but I apologize for being the stick in the mud, and thanks for your patience with Ashley and me.
No problem, our children come first.
Our next item is B, Resolution 14, 2023. A resolution allowing a junior senior high school as a use by special review in an R2 low medium density residential at 303 East 3rd Street. Ms. Fox?
Yes, did you guys have any questions on my staff report or on the?
Ms. McKinnon?
I don't, because this has been, it was this for many, many years. Very successful.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Merkelman?
The only concern I had, and we talked about the other night, we're changing the dramatics of the neighborhood a little bit by having teenage drivers. But they assured me they were gonna have inside parking and.
Yes, they
on
have
that, so
sufficient parking.
that was the
And
only
their
concern.
enrollment probably will not be very high. Yeah.
That was it.
Ms. Gibson?
No, I don't have anything at this time.
Okay.
Mr. Wolf?
Nope, nothing.
Mr. Van Houten?
No, I do not.
The only thing that I would say is that that building was really used in a very positive way when it was filled, and it's a shame to see it half filled now. So, that's my opinion. May I have a motion, please, to approve Resolution 14, 2023, a resolution allowing a junior senior high school as a use by special review at 303 East 3rd Street. May I have a motion, please?
I would like to make the motion to approve resolution number 14-2023, a resolution allowing a junior senior high school as a use by special review at 303 East 3rd Street.
May I have a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Counselor McKinnon?
Yes.
Counselor Van Houten?
Yes.
Counselor Wolf?
Yes.
Counselor Gibson?
Yes.
Counselor Mergelman?
Yes.
Mayor Villagrana?
Yes. Our next item is Resolution 16, 2023, a resolution acknowledging. Did I miss one? Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I missed one. A Resolution 15, 2023, a resolution allowing a professional office as a use by special review at the CHB Central Historic Business Zone District at 203 West Main Street. Ashley?
Yes, did you have any questions on my staff report or any other information needed?
Mr. Mergelman, questions?
Nope.
Ms. Gibson?
No.
Mr. Wolf?
No.
Mr. Van Houten?
No.
Ms. McKinnon?
None.
I have none either. May I have a motion to approve a resolution allowing a professional office as a use by special review in a CHB Central Historic Business Zone District at 203 West Main? May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 15-2023, a resolution allowing a professional office as a use by special review at 203 West Main Street.
May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Further discussion? Citizens? None? Roll call, please.
Counselor Wolf?
Yes.
Counselor Mergelman?
Yes.
Counselor Van Houten?
Yes.
Counselor Gibson?
Yes.
Counselor McKinnon?
Yes.
Mayor Villagrana?
Yes. Now we have a resolution acknowledging the completion of portions of the public improvements in High Meadows subdivision, filing number 4, Phase 4B. Ashley, please.
Yes, did you have any questions on the staff report or any other information in the packet?
Questions?
This was final infrastructure detail that had to be completed.
Yeah, it was actually already completed for the rest of the High Meadows Drive, but we're acknowledging it in phases. So, depending on the selling of lots and stuff like that.
So this completed the blacktop all the way
Yes,
up
it's
and around the
completed,
top,
yeah.
and the curb, and then the sidewalks go in as the lots are sold.
As the developer or builder builds the new home, they'll put the new sidewalks
Sidewalks
in.
in. Okay.
But he will be giving us
A bond.
a bond, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
Ashley, who determines how many, and I don't know what you call them around here. I mean, they were kind of like a storm sewer where I came from, but, you know, when it rains and it goes down into the thing there from the gutter.
Oh, the drainage?
Yeah, the drainage. Who determines that? Does the
Well,
city do that?
Yeah, it's a cooperation between the engineer that does the drainage and Public Works.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's no, in the new part up there, there's none of those drains up there, right? They didn't put any new drains in there. Why not? Yeah, they flood down by me. So that's, and I guess they're flooding kind of in that area up there. I've had some complaints after the last couple of rains, so I
That's
just
something we can
wondered
look
who
into.
determines that? Because it all comes down to the cul-de-sac.
These were engineered years ago.
Okay,
I was not a part of that.
sure,
Usually, I mean,
okay.
some of the infrastructure, whatever, is whatever was agreed on in the past.
Okay. Okay, just wondered how it came to be.
James?
Well, basically, it falls back on the engineering of that subdivision and the possibility of X amount of rain, percentage. So,
We really got a 5-year event, a 100-year event, or anything of that nature.
Ms. McKinnon?
No, just everything is being completed according to code and to date, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Merkelman?
I'm good.
I have none. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 16, 2023? A resolution acknowledging the completion of portions of the public improvements in High Meadows subdivision, filing for Phase B. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 16-2023, a resolution acknowledging the completion of portions of the public improvements in High Meadow subdivision, filing for Phase B.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? None? Roll call, please.
Counselor Mergelman?
Yes.
Counselor Wolf?
Yes.
Counselor Van Houten?
yes.
Counselor Gibson?
Yes.
Counselor McKinnon?
Yes.
Mayor Villagrana?
Yes. Our next ordinance is ordinance 6, 2023. An ordinance approving rezoning of lots 9 through 16, Block L of the United Oil Company's Mesa subdivision from I-1 Light Industrial Zone District to R1 Low Intensity Residential Zone District. Discussion, please. Ms. Gibson?
No.
Mr. Wolf?
Yeah, I was looking at the map that you gave us.
Yes.
And it shows like there's 4 lots there. Are those
Yes.
divided into half lots to make up the 8?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
9 through 6, okay.
Mr. Van Allen?
No question.
Mr. Merkelman?
No.
Ms. McKinnon?
None.
I have none either. May I have a motion to approve the ordinance 6, 2023, approving RA zoning of lots 9 through 16, Block L of the United Oil Company's Mesa subdivision from I-1 Light Industrial Zone District to R1 Low Density Residential Zone District. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion, we approve ordinance number 6, 2023, an ordinance approving rezoning of lots 9 through 16, Block L of the United Oil Company's Mesa subdivision from I Light Industrial Zone District to RI Low Density Residential Zone District.
May I have a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Citizens, no discussion? Please.
In the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, so they're considered non-conforming structures.
So whereabouts is Mesa? The,
Where it's on Pine Street, as you go south on 67, turn onto Cedar, go to the next right or left, and that's Pine Street.
okay. And so the, well, I guess if they're, the residential folk in lots 1 through 8 had no objections.
They're empty, they're vacant.
Okay, thank you.
No further discussion? We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Counselor Mergelmann,
Yes.
Counselor McKinnon,
Yes.
Counselor Van Houten,
Yes.
Counselor Wolf.
Yes.
Counselor Gibson.
Yes.
Mayor Villagrana.
Yes. Our next item is ordinance 7, 2023, an ordinance approving the Cornelius subdivision, filing number 2, a re-subdivision of Lot 1, Cornelius subdivision in the city of Florence. Discussion. Mr. Wolf?
No, nothing.
Mr. Van Houten?
No.
Ms. Gibson?
No.
Mr. Merkelman?
No.
Mrs. McKinnon?
None.
And I have none. May I have a motion, please, to pass the ordinance 7/7/23, an ordinance approving the Cornelius subdivision, filing number 2, a re-subdivision of Lot 1, Cornelius subdivision in the city of Florence. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion to approve ordinance 7-2023, an ordinance approving the Cornelius subdivision filing number 2, a re-subdivision of Lot 1, Cornelius subdivision in the city of Florence.
May I have a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Citizens? None? Roll call, please.
Counselor McKinnon,
Yes.
Counselor Wolf.
Yes.
Counselor Van Houten,
Yes.
Counselor Gibson,
Yes.
Counselor Mergelmann,
Yes.
Mayor Villagrana.
Yes. Our next item is G, authorizing Bob Crossa and Miller LLC to act as legal counsel for the City of Florence water court case. City Manager, please.
So yes, as stated in the staff report at the September 26, 2023 regular meeting, the Regional Water Board voted unanimously among members present to authorize Crossa and Miller to act as legal counsel. This is for an upcoming water case for the adjudication of Union Ditch shares, and they simply need appointed in order to represent us.
Discussion, please.
How many shares are we talking about?
I believe it's 200, is that correct, Cortland?
No, it's over 500, maybe 550.
Okay, it's 550 for Florence.
Well, because we had because we had the 600 Camerlo Dairy shares, and we sold some to Rockville and Coal Creek, and they had additional shares accumulated since 2012 in the last
Okay.
water court case.
Okay, and does Rockville and Coal Creek, do they go in on this too? It all gets under one case?
Yes, all in one case.
James?
No questions.
Debbie?
No.
Riddle?
Good.
Gail?
Just out of curiosity, anybody know how long they've been representing us in water? I mean, I've just heard their name a lot and keep wanting to say thank you, for
Yeah, I
their
don't
knowledge.
actually know that, but I will say water law is not something I wish on my worst enemy. So.
Yeah, you keep what you have. Yeah.
You know, they have been representing us since I've been on city council, and that's 28 years plus. And City Clerk, the entities are handling their share of the cost of having them represent us, right?
So the legal fees are divided by percentages as far as what shares were in the case, and that will be divvied up at the end of the year, yearly.
Thank you. Discussion, any further discussion? Citizens? None. May I have a motion to authorize Bob Crossa and Miller LLC to act as legal counsel on behalf of the city of Florence and the Regional Water Board in an upcoming water court case. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion to authorize Bob Crossa and Miller LLC to act as the legal counsel on behalf of the city of Florence and the Regional Water Board in an upcoming water case.
May I have a second?
Second.
Further discussion? None? Roll call, please.
Counselor McKinnon?
Yes.
Counselor Wolf?
Yes.
Counselor Van Houten?
Yes.
Counselor Gibson?
Yes.
Counselor Mergelman?
Yes.
Mayor Villagrana?
Yes. Our next item is administrative information. Council reports. James, any reports?
I just want to say I've been going to these band performances that Florence High School is putting on. And if you ever get a chance to go to one of those and watch these Florence kids play, it's amazing. So huge shout out to their parents and them. It takes a lot for those kids to go. It's an all-day event. We left at 7 o'clock in the morning and we got home at 1:30 the Sunday morning. It's amazing what those kids go through.
How did they end up rating? Do you
They
know?
placed first in the first go around, and then I think 12th, but they were competing against 3A and 4A schools. So
Oh, that's outstanding from our kids.
just amazing. So,
Steve?
I can attest to the amount of work that they put in, because they're out there after school, 3 or 4 days a week. A couple things. I attended the Southern Colorado Startup Week, the morning that was held here at the Emerging Campus. And there are lots of good things happening there, and we do need to pursue possibilities for Florence through the Emerging Campus. I know Sue put out a thank you to Sam and the Public Works for the park's been working on, and I'd also like to thank Sam for the work they've done on Coal Creek from the 5th Street Bridge down to the city limits. They cleaned up that ditch and really mitigated any potential flood threat there, cleaned out everything down there. And I'm working with the citizens, some of the neighborhoods right there, to maybe go down, and we're gonna try to clean up some of the trash, and so there's some homeless camp trash in there. We're gonna go down and try to clean that up also. Attended the regional water, and we got an update from Brandon Harris, and the thing that he's put in some new upgraded, some software, and they actually had a power outage that morning. Instead of the plant shutting all the way down and having to restart the plant, the new software was able to kick in and keep the plant up and running. So good things happening there at the water plant.
Ms. Gibson?
Just wanted to say that at the junior senior high school, we just finished hearing and vision screening, and we'll retest at the end of the month. We're fortunate to have a new nurse that is part of a grant, and she's wonderful. She was an ICU nurse before, so she'll have lots to bring us. And I think our nurses are just a great asset for our school district. The other thing that I was gonna mention is kudos to Mason for going out and giving out his little fines or notes or whatever to take care of the weeds. Things are starting to look much, much better. Still have work to do, but much, much better improvement.
Mr. Merkelman?
Amy and I have been faithfully attending the FED, Fremont Economical Development Committee. We have asked, they're in the middle of an audit now, but we've asked for a meeting with either Dan Armstrong and Rob Brown and try to ignite the relationship, the FEDC and Florence again. We've had several conversations about it, but we want to do some one-on-one to see what we can do. They've been not really engaged with them the last few years. There've been some tokens showing up at meetings and stuff, but they've really not been involved in a lot. So we're going to see if we can't get that going. The other thing is just the last few years, I've lived through a sewer replacement in the alley, the new water line in front of our house, and the new highway in front of our house. So I consider myself a pretty good amateur engineer. I've kept my nose out of the project down by the post office, but I had to go down today, and they're doing a great job. When you look down there and see the amount, you think a water line is being simple until you go down there and look at it. And there were more gizmos and gauges and stuff in there today. And Sam's right on top of it, and he said it's doing fine, so that's good for me. Thanks.
Ms. McKinnon?
No, kudos with what Rudel said. I've looked at what you're doing, and I don't understand engineering, but yeah, I enjoy watching and seeing all the activity and coming along. On Friday? Cool.
For myself, I attended the Regional Water Committee meeting that Mr. Wolf had attested to. I also attended the budget workshop, which to me was a good presentation by city manager and the finance officer. It was a visual and a verbal information from our finance officer and our city manager. It was also a question asking workshop from the city council to these two people, and answered it with the two citizens concerning their personal issues. One of the issues was the police, with our police chief, and it was satisfactorily drawn to a conclusion. The other person that visited with me, it was worked out and is continually to be worked out concerning her property and her mannerisms concerning that property. Right now, I would like to read you a letter. It says, "Dear Paul, I have served on the Planning Commission for the past 7 years and believe I have accomplished many things for the city and citizens of Florence. I am grateful for the opportunity to have served the city and our citizens, but I feel that my time has come to take a step back and allow new and fresh people to come in and contribute their time and ideas to further improve Florence. I wish the best for the commission and the new city planner in their endeavors for the future of Florence." You know, I'm very sorry to have to accept this letter of resignation from Gail Nelson, chairperson for the planning committee. She has served the city faithfully for 7 years. And in visiting with Gail, I know that her first most concern was the city of Florence. Gail, for that and for all your service, I thank you for all that you did for us. City manager.
Yes, are there any questions on my report?
I would like to take the opportunity to compliment staff and administration on the budget presentation the other night. It's the best one I've ever been to.
Thank you.
Now we come up to executive session. Do we have a request for executive session?
Two things. First of all, I just wanted to echo, I've heard, I was not at the budget session, but I've heard all the same comments, so kudos to everybody. There is an issue that during the past week when Amy was putting together her report that we discussed, and I would like to ask to give you guys more information in executive session. I don't expect, not that there ever could be any action that is taken in executive session, but this is really more of just a brief informational download. But here's the fun part. In order to do that, I would need you all to motion and accept by more than a two-thirds or more majority. This would be in pursuant to CRS 246402-4B. If you have your agenda in front of you, item 10 would give you the language. You don't have to read the whole paragraph, but just say for the purpose of conferencing with an attorney, and the end of that phrase.
May I have a motion to accept or to go into executive session?
I'd like to make a motion that pursuant to CRS 246402-4B, an executive session for the purpose of conferencing with the attorney for the local public body. Oh, is that good?
That's good.
Okay, I'll second it.
Before I ask for roll call, which people are you requesting?
Just council and city manager and me.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Counselor Wolf?
Yes.
Counselor Gibson?
Yes.
Counselor Van Houten?
Yes.
Counselor Mergelman?
Yes.
Counselor McKinnon?
Yes.
Mayor Villagrana?
Yes.
in the cul-de-sac.
Oh,
At the
you're
end
one
of
of,
the-
you're one
yeah.
of these cul-de-sacs.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, there's a cul-de-sac here, there's a cul-de-sac here, there's a cul-de-sac. This is the
So you come down. let's see.
Excuse me, I'm just gonna start the meeting again for everyone. Can I have just quiet for a second? The time is now 7:42, and the executive session has been concluded. The participants were council, city manager, and myself, city attorney. It was under the attorney-client privilege, and unless anyone has any objections or points to make, there was an informational session only, and I believe that concludes our agenda, but Mayor, I'll let you make that call.
So no further discussion. It's 7:42.